Good evening. This side over here is obviously unruly. There's nobody over here, and everybody in the middle must get a raise. That's all I can say. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Board of Trustees 2018 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center located at 10,300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, for the purpose of reviewing that portion of the Monday, December 10th, 2018 regular board meeting agenda designated as action items and to hear designated reports and recognitions posted in the meeting notice as required by Texas law. No action will be taken at this meeting. I want to welcome the members of the audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board will determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode, which I'm about to do right now, and I hope everybody else is too. Thank you for taking this time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize our Community Leadership Committee members who are in attendance this evening, if there's anyone here, which I do not think there are, and I don't think we see any Boy Scouts. So, the recognitions, board comments, and citizen participation portion of the agenda will be presented at the regular board meeting on Monday, December the 10th, 2018. The board will now review the following consensus agenda items. 4A, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. This will be on Monday evening, and they're for questions only, unless somebody has a question now. Okay? 4B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the November 12, 2018 regular board meeting. That will be agreed upon on Monday too. The board will now review the following non-consensus agenda items. Number 5, action items non-consensus. 5A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and are authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda items. Number 1, automotive chemicals, parts, and supplies. Number 2, central packaging for nutrition services. Number 3, cleaning supplies for nutrition services. Number 4, CTE, vocational lab supplies, equipment, and housewares. Number 5, electric service, bucket and lift truck service. Number 6, fine arts supplies. Number 7, fleet maintenance and repair, nutrition services. Number 8, musical instrument repair. Number 9, interior, exterior identification signage. And number 10, small wares for nutrition services. Does anybody have any questions about any of those? Can we move that to consent? Thank you. Moving to consent. 5B, the board will consider approving construction proposals and contracts paid from bond funds to the recommended contractors and authorize a superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts as follows. Number 1, proposal 2018 Spillane Middle School renovations. Budget bond funds, the award $1,864,000 to Purcell Construction, Inc. Number 2, proposal 2018 Cypress Creek High School renovations. Budget bond funds, award $9,389,283 to Gamma Construction Company. Do any of you have any questions on either of those? Okay, let's move that to consent. Is that okay? You ladies are awesome. Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I mean, like, but we can still open it back up on Monday. 'Cause
We-
it's a large.
Unless you want, you want to separate it out and have it a standalone? Okay, let's separate that out, Holly, please. Okay,
One question, or
Sure.
Dr. Henry, actually, is that 2014 bond funds?
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Anything else? 5C, the board will consider approving and authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into the miscellaneous professional service contracts related to the following project. Number 1, project 2018 Cypress Creek High School renovations. Contracts are for HVAC testing and balancing services up to $85,000. Roof inspection services and building envelope up to $250,000. Funding sources, bond funds. Anybody have any questions on that? I guess I have one question. Matt? And it's going to be a short question. You had to walk a long way. Sorry.
All right, I need the exercise.
Does the roof inspection, does that have to do anything with the hurricane?
No, it does
No.
not.
It's
We're
just-
replacing part of the roof.
It's aging is what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
About 50% of the roof we're replacing.
But we just renovated that how long
We
ago?
rented that in 2009, 2010.
Okay. All right.
In the last renovation, we did not have the roof life was in good shape at that time, but now it's at the end of its extended life right now, so we need to replace it. And we knew that going into the 2014 authorization. That's why dollars were budgeted for it in the authorization, so we can complete the rest of it.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks,
Welcome.
Matt. Okay, I'm sorry. Deb?
Matt, is the rest of the roof still in really good repair? I'm just wondering, would it be more cost effective to do the whole thing at one time, or why are we just doing part of the roof?
We're replacing the cold tar pitch roof on it. The rest of the roof is in good repair. So
Okay.
no, it wouldn't be more cost effective. It's just this portion needs to be replaced.
Okay. And we can move that to consent, ladies, or do we want it separate? Consent? Okay. 5D, the board will consider authorizing the superintendent or designee to negotiate and execute amendments to existing lease agreements between Crown Castle and Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Does anyone have any questions concerning that? Would anybody like to have it explained, like me, a little bit more? Roy? Can you just give a little bit more insight into
Yeah,
it?
I'll be glad to. Currently, we have 6 cell tower leases out there, and we have an opportunity to go ahead and extend those leases for a further term. One of the leases we have was actually acquired through an assignment when we purchased the property for Cy Woods. And the lease rates on that tower are very low in the market. So we're trying to get those lease rates to match the other tower lease rates that we have. And as I included in the board packet information is, with all the leases we've had since 2008, we've earned over $2.2 million of lease rental that has gone into our general fund to help support classrooms.
Okay, and that's good information that everybody should hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can we move that to consent, ladies, or separate? Okay, moving to consent. 5E, the board will consider approving the attached list of students for off-campus physical education, Category 1 for 2018-19 school year. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Macias on that? Are we okay? Can we move that to consent? Okay. 5G, the board will consider approving the campus and district performance objectives for 2018-19 campus and district improvement plans. Does anybody have any questions on that? What'd I miss? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, it says in the beginning I don't have to follow, right?
I'm sorry.
I don't. Thank you. It's okay. It's privilege, right? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to 5F and try to stay organized. The board will consider approving the calendar committee's recommendation for 2019-2020 instructional calendar. Does anybody have any questions on that? Doctor, it says Monday. Is it tonight? How about a Thursday presentation? That's really brief. You want? That's fine. I'd love to hear it.
So can you put that up, please?
We may have to redo it on Monday, but let's.
You also have one
let's.
at your place.
Yes, you have one on your in your area. So good evening, Mr. Covey, board members, and Dr. Hendry. So this evening, I just want to highlight a few of the important aspects of the 2019-2020 instructional calendar that was developed by our district calendar committee. And just a quick reminder that the calendar committee includes parents, community members, teachers, paraprofessionals, campus, and district staff as well. When the calendar committee worked on the 2018 calendar, the one that we're actually in right now, they actually developed a 2-year calendar. So the calendar that you see before you, they developed along with the 18-19 calendar. And because of that, we're able to bring the calendar to you for the 1920 school year a lot earlier than we typically do. So I want to go over highlight just a few areas. So if you'll notice on your calendar, the first day of instruction is August 26th. That's the fourth Monday in August, which is what the time frame the law gives us for the first day of instruction. The last day of instruction is May 28th. You'll notice that again, we have a week for the Thanksgiving break, November 25th through November 29th. And if you look at the winter holiday, you'll see that begins on December 23rd for students and goes through January 3rd. Note that Friday, January 3rd is a professional day for teacher. This is no different than this school year. In fact, the calendars are very similar this year and the one for next year. Spring break is noted on the calendar for March 9th through March 13th, and that lines up with Lone Star College, which is important to us because our students are taking dual credit courses, and we have teachers that are also teaching. There are 4 additional student and teacher holidays on the calendar. Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day. January 20th, Martin Luther King Day. April 10th, Good Friday. May 25th, my birthday. But it's also Memorial Day. It's also Memorial Day.
Both are national holidays.
Yes, they are. Thank you, Marty. There are 3 professional days that are within the first and last day of the instructional day. So they're right there in the middle. November 5th and November 3rd. January 17th is on there as well, and that is also designated as an inclement weather day. Now, these days require a waiver approval from the DEIC and also the state. The DEIC has already approved this, and then once, if you approve this calendar, then we'll send it over to the state as well. Now, we've always had this is a change in the calendar from what you've seen in the past. We've always had a professional development day in the fall, but it has typically always been in October. On this calendar, you'll notice that it is not in October, but it is in November. November 5th, Election Day. The campuses have shared concerns with us about election days and having a lot of people in their buildings and the safety the safety for the students. So we actually asked the elementary, because they're the ones that do several different other things with that date, about changing that October date to November 5th, the election day, and they were all in favor of doing that. So our fall PD day will be November 5th, election day.
Can I ask a question? Real quick?
Yes.
Well, so will that be like parent-teacher conferences? Because normally in October, that day was parent-teacher conferences for the elementary schools.
Yes, we have, that day is actually a professional development day, and so our campuses do professional development on how you work with parents, and then they apply what they've learned through actually having conferences. But most of them have conferences that whole week. It's not just that one day, because they can't get all the parents in on that day. So they really do conferences throughout that entire week. But yes, that remains their day. November now is their day to do that type of
Okay,
activity.
that's what I was just thinking, because it's nice to have that day to where you're not having to stay after school a lot to do conferences. And
Yes.
so that's what I was wondering about. Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Okay.
Mr. Covey, just a little bit of clarification, and Linda kind of touched on it there, that this is what we hope will become the tradition of it being election day, whatever day that falls on every year, just, again, for the safety and security of our students and staff. And it, as you might imagine, it can create quite a traffic situation also. And then the other two PD days, I think Linda gave the wrong month actually, but it's January 3rd and February 17th, just so anybody that might be listening out there could hear that.
Okay, any other questions? And I guess you didn't consider the Nutcracker Market as a PD day, right?
No, we didn't.
Oh,
But
okay.
can I add one more thing?
Sure.
I think this is important for the audience to hear. The last group of days that are on this calendar are August 12th through the 16th, and August 19th through the 23rd, and May 29th. And we always get the question about, well, why are teachers having to go longer than the students? For the students, the state changed the time to minutes. You may remember that, 2 minutes of instruction. But for teachers, nothing changed. They have to work 187 days. So our students, the instructional days are 173 days, and then there's 14 days of PD that, if you add that together, is 187 days. So it's not additional days teachers are having to work outside of their contract. It is their contract days.
Well, I'll also tell you that I heard some compliments about being able to get into their classrooms for a longer period of time this last year. So I know that that was very appreciated by the teachers, at least the ones I heard, so thank you. Okay, it's okay if we move that to consent, ladies, or separate? Consent? Okay. Now to 5G, which I was excited about. The board will consider approving the campus and district performance objectives for 2018-19 campus and district improvement plans. Does anybody have any questions about that for Dr. Macias? Okay, I've got one. And it's, I don't want a real lengthy, and when I'm reading that 1,000 pages that y'all submitted to us, which, I mean, that's awesome, you know, and when I understand that y'all are digging for information and you're data digging, as they call it, I wish I was a statistical person, but I'm not. But my question is, when you compare this year's campus improvement plan to last year, do you show, and I was looking and maybe it's there, do you show where they have improved on what their goals were for that year?
We don't show where they've improved. No, the campuses go through all this data on their own, but on the campus improvement plan, it's just that improvement. And so they're really just listing the areas that they're looking to improve.
Okay, all right. I was just curious. All right, yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question that's, just because I know writing is such a big thing this year, and it is at my job too, and it was interesting reading the writing plan and the uploading of the documents. And so are we going to keep, like, are these documents going to follow the students year to year? I mean, is anybody, or is it just, we're just looking at kind of like where they're at and with the samples at each school?
So you're talking about establishing some portfolios for the students. We will have that on file so the teachers can pull and be able to look at it. But you're right. This year we added that to it, being able to upload so that we're looking at it at the district level as well as the campus.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thanks.
Okay, would y'all like for that to stand alone?
Yes.
Yes, we would like that to stand alone, Holly. 5H, the board will consider approving superintendent's recommendation to give notice to Candace Thompson that it is proposed her employment with the district under the term contract be terminated. It is further recommended the president of the board notify the nurse of the proposed action to terminate her employment pursuant of 21.211 of the Texas Educator Code. This item will be or may be discussed in closed session, and we have moved this to Monday as opposed to Thursday. Okay? And then number 6, the superintendent's briefing portion of the agenda will be presented at the regular board meeting on Monday, December the 10th, 2018. Does anybody have anything else? We're adjourned. Is that a record?
That has to be a record.
Awesome.
Be the president every meeting. That was like awesome.
22 minutes.
Way to go, Bob.